Okay, I was a little late on the button, but that's why we double sync, right?
That's why we hit all the buttons.
That's right.
Except the panic button tonight.
Not anymore.
What are you talking about? The panic button was in full effect. It sounds like someone didn't watch this game.
I'm a bad podcaster.
Well, you are, solvent, so that's good.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect. Yeah, so just prepare to...
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
I got my sweet jerk with them. Shoes on.
That train is off the track.
I feel like you can't just jump through Neptune and be okay.
Just prepare to...
What the show needs is more dogs and bears and chickens and stuff.
Yeah, so just prepare to be awash in unbelievable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You were listening to the Undebeatables, your way more than semi-weekly Pacers podcast. Today is Tuesday, May 6th, 2025, and this is episode 763. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm your host, Joey Gaffrida, the man behind the dials. This show, we're going to discuss Game 2 of the Pacers-Cavs Round 2 matchup. Joining me this show are two of our three analysts, coast to coast, like buttered toast. First, from Asheville, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks in the crappy jingles, and brought to you by Boom Baby, John Colson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? What is up, Undebeatables? So Harper does not know what's happened in this game, so no spoilers.
No spoilers. Even after the game, even after the show, we're just gonna tiptoe around it.
Sure, well, we are not going to if you're going to listen to this
No.
episode, there will be no discussion of the game or the score.
Right.
Harper's got to get watching.
This is why people tune in.
Yep. From Tacoma, Washington, out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What's going on, fellas? I am excited to be enlightened. I've gotten some signals, so I've got good feelings. But it's either really good or really bad. So
Whatever it is, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, do you remember the Malice in the Palace?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that, so that's good. That's good.
Yeah. All Harper got was all caps. We pod now.
Yeah. And an unbelievable
tonight.
which, yeah.
An unbelievable. That's right.
Well, as I guess you may have figured, Harper is in Tacoma, Washington, and many hours behind the East Coast, and
Stupid job.
the stupid job forces him to work during a lot of these games. And
I mean,
well,
it's just this side of slave labor making me work during the playoffs.
On a normal day, you'd come home, watch it on the DVR
Without commercials.
but this is playoff time.
Yeah.
And doesn't work like that. So before we get into the show, I do want to remind listeners that they can support us, the longest running Pacers podcast, by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables. And you can support our show for as little as $1 per month. Well, Harper, let's set the stage for you. This is Tuesday, May 2nd at Rocket Arena. Game tips 7 Eastern. So what is that, 4 p.m. your time?
Leave May 6th, hopefully. Unless we're going back in
May
time
6th?
here.
What did I say? What did I say?
I heard 2nd, but
Oh, well,
It's game 2.
it is
Game 2.
It is game 2nd.
game 2nd. That's what I said. So, let's set the stage, I guess. Pacers, of course, win game one. We had talked about that. Cavs, they actually had... so, Darius Garland still did not play. He had missed game one. Now, DeAndre Hunter and Evan Mobley do not play.
Oh, jeez.
Because of injuries picked up in game one. They had finished the game, but they were unable to play game two. So
Good Lord.
Their starting lineup is
three
Max
of their top
Strus.
7 guys.
Yeah. So 3 of their starters are out. Just unable to play. So Max Strus, Dean Wade,
You think
Jared Allen,
Max
Donovan
Strus is one of their
Mitchell,
top 7 guys? That's generous.
and Ty Jerome.
He was in this game.
Yeah, he was.
He's annoyingly good.
And Pacers essentially have the same lineup that they've had. There are no injuries, nothing new.
Our healthy, badass lineup that stole game one from
Yeah,
them.
and we were as full strength as we were going to be.
Except you couldn't
And-
tell it coming out of the gate.
Well, so as the game started, Pacers took a 9-4 lead and looked pretty good, for the first couple minutes, and then really Cleveland just absolutely took the game by the scruff of the neck, and Donovan Mitchell went on an absolute tear. And we had no answer for it. We were switching up defenses. We just couldn't deal with it.
And they were
up,
shooting lights out from 3-point
Yeah.
range. Strus couldn't miss.
right.
I assume Ty Jerome
I
hit a
think
couple in there.
He actually had a pretty quiet night, but no 3-point. Let's see. Did he have? Yeah, it was 0 for 4
he
from
was-
the range.
0 for 4 of 3. So he was the quietest starter, I would say.
Yeah. Sam Merrill was 4 of 9. Yeah. So, but it was we were down 17 at the end of the first.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
we
to show you
were-
how well that went.
Yeah. We're doing such a good
15 to
job
their-
of coming out and setting the tone in these games. It's not surprising that they came out with some authority, but that's not great.
Yeah, they came out with desperation, and we just looked discombobulated. And as Joey said, Mitchell was on one. This is an historically great game from him. I'll give you his final numbers: 48 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 steals. He was 15 of 30 and 17 of 21 from the line.
I mean, didn't even get a double-double.
It's true.
He was unstoppable.
Didn't get 50.
An array of shots, of dunks, of just incredible.
He's got a deep
dribbles.
bag.
Yes, he does, and he was in it for sure.
That's true, but I will say, as the game went on, there wasn't much offense outside of him, and the Pacers were making him pay. He was getting in the lane, and he was doing his thing. He was scoring. He was getting to the line, of course, but he took a bunch of shots along the way. He had some, filthy dunks, and he left his mark on the game, but Pacers left a mark on him too, and then nothing dirty, but just good physical basketball.
Yeah, no easy baskets in the playoffs, right?
It's that
Right.
time of year, man.
Yeah.
But so during this stretch of the Cavs extending their lead, Colson, how did you feel about these two statistical categories: turnovers and rebounding?
God. Well, okay, so we could not get a rebound this entire game. But how many did we have? 9 turnovers in the first quarter, is that right?
No.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
14 and a half. It was
14 and a half. We would just give them the ball. Yeah, just give them the ball at will.
It's like some Nate McMillan inbounding.
We couldn't complete a pass without them taking it and going in for a layup. And they were all
Nembhard had-
active. You know how
Yeah,
Nembhard's
live ball
game?
turnovers. Like,
Yeah, live ball turnovers.
Nembhard had 8 turnovers on the day.
Woo.
Yeah.
That is wildly unlike our man.
But to the Pacers' credit, they had a better second quarter. Not great, but it was better. They did score 35 points, but the defense wasn't there. So we go into halftime with an 11-point deficit.
I had told Erica, I was like, look, we just need to get this down to 8 going in the half, and it's going to be fine. and it looked like we were going to do it, and then we kind of just crumbled a little bit in the last minute and a half. But we were playing much better.
Yeah, it was still. We've seen a lot from this team, which unfortunately has given, I think given the fans. I actually have. I have some faith in this team. Say, hey, it's 11, and we've shown lots of games now recently that we've not given up, and
The question is, can we hold them under 120?
Right, that is the question.
So I mean, I think going in the half, you kind of look at that and say, hey, we're down 11. It could have been way worse, but
it could have been way worse. I think that's how you're
this
feeling.
is manageable.
Yeah.
And so, in the third quarter, the Cavs came out, and I think they hit us first in the after the break, and then the Pacers kind of just started chipping away. And so, final scoring in the third, 34 for the Pacers, 37.
Yeah, so we're down 14 going into the fourth.
Eek.
Yeah.
What?
So we were down 20 in the first half. We were in this third quarter. We were largely within 6 points, 8 points, 10 points. It felt reasonable. It felt like a close game, an interesting game. Like I wasn't going to turn it off. It wasn't 25 points down or anything, But
we had been 20 points down.
Yeah, we were 20 points down in the first half. And man, Siakam could not hit the broadside of a barn. He had a rough game.
Yeah, he only took 8 shots and ends with 12 points.
Yeah, and missed all his free throws, I think. I don't know, I'm not looking at it. Felt like all of them.
But yeah, it doesn't seem great if you come out a little flat in the first and then can't correct that out of the locker room either. Those tend to be two pretty pivotal times of the game.
Yeah, the bench was struggling too. I mean, I thought, McConnell does what he does, but I thought he looked a little bit more chaotic than normal.
Which can cut either
Thomas
way.
Bryant, yeah. Sometimes that goes well for us. He was not exactly hitting his shots this one. He looked small out there. Obi Toppin had, one big three, but again, kind of quiet. But then then Benedict Mathurin decided that he was going to show up at the end of that third quarter, and ends up playing most of the fourth and was instrumental. How you get back in a game is at the free throw line, when the clock is stopped, and he just kept going to the basket and got there quite a bit, which was really good.
Well, so having not seen this game, like my assumption would be because they're without starters, what you do get is a bunch of guys who would normally not be seeing so many minutes. What you can count on those guys for, especially at home, is a ton of energy and effort, if I had to guess. Probably some good defense and definitely a lot of fresh legs because it's not their normal starters. Were they playing with just like a ton of energy the whole game?
Yes, but because they were short 3 main rotation guys, like you've got Okoro for 30 minutes, Sam Merrill for 26. I feel like we did start to. Our team is just so good at running, 10, 11 guys, and also really good condition because we're used to playing full court press all game. So by the end, in the fourth quarter, they were really dragging their offense, which had been so crisp, really started to bog down into just the Donovan Mitchell show outside of a couple of Strus threes. But yeah, I mean, he was just exhausted. He was just throwing his body at the basket, hoping to get a foul call by the end, which was working.
It was, and
21
you did get a break
froze
at the free throw line.
Yeah,
but like I said, like we said, like no easy baskets, and he had to work for everything. But he was visibly exhausted, towards the very end.
There were a few huge emotional swings as this thing went down to the wire. We're within, we were 9 within 9 minutes because I remember saying we just got to do a point a minute. And we were within 6 minutes. And I'm like, okay, we can do this.
We're on pace.
Exactly.
It got real quiet. But again, Cleveland started with the overrated chance at Halliburton.
Yep.
And
Why do they think
I
that's
was-
effective?
well, I was confused by that because the Pacers had come out and just won game 1 on their floor. And the Cavs were up by, at the time, like, it was, I think, in the first half still, but they were only up by...
They did it in the second half.
Did they second half too?
Yeah, he missed the front end of a free throw, and they started doing overrated. That was it.
And, I mean, it seems like the last team that did that they're on the beach right now. And so, I don't know. Like, also...
Joey, get your team in line.
You guys remember when we went to San Antonio years ago, and we watched the game down there. This is regular season game. Pacers were up. They were up big. It's like early in the fourth quarter. The Spurs made, I don't know, let's say a 6 or 8 point run or something like that. And the fans, you could tell, thought that they believed something might happen. But that's because it's the San Antonio Spurs. That it was the same franchise and the same, core who could win the title at any given year. And by the way, shout out to Pop, who
Shout out,
is now
Pop.
the
El
president.
Jefe.
Shout out.
El Jefe. Now I saw his new title. But the fans there know it's the San Antonio Spurs who can and do win all the time, and so they'd proven that with, I don't know, they have a trophy room with a bunch of trophies with the same,
And it's
the
not
same
empty.
people. It's not empty. And this Cavs team, who had a phenomenal regular season, have done none of those things. They don't have titles with these players.
No,
They
do
had,
not.
I don't know, like a 60-win season, which was great. So
Those don't come
poking
along
the
very
bear.
often, Joe.
It's very impressive.
it was great. They had a great, but I think the fans, poked the bear a little bit.
They were wound up. They were very loud, and they would get a little nervous. But the moment anything good happened, they got real loud, again.
And
So,
one thing that happened a lot was Max Strus was hitting threes.
yeah. And so I would say that there were two wide open threes, one from Nemhard and one from. It was a wide open three from Nemhard, and then it was a couple of chippies that Miles Turner got his own rebound and missed. So basically, we missed 7 points there in a couple of possessions, and then Strus hits a three, and we're like, okay, this is over. They're up 7 points with 48 seconds left.
Again?
That's when I went.
Haven't
that's
I
when
already
went
seen
and
this
got
game?
Catherine.
Yeah, you have already seen this game.
So yeah, it's a little blurry for me.
So basically, Siakam goes into the post and misses terribly.
Because
Gets
he's
fouled.
colder than ice.
He's colder than ice. He misses his first free throw. He misses his second free throw, and this is trying to get back into the game.
Way to
right?
go, Spicy Pete.
And Neesmith comes from above the free throw line, the old Jordan move, and comes in and grabs it and slams it.
What?
And yeah, it was freaking incredible.
Where did
so we
that
get our
come
2
from?
points anyway. I don't know. He was so aggressive. He also took down Mitchell while he was doing it, just from the aggressiveness of the
Honestly,
dunk.
I think that was a foul on Mitchell too. But
Oh yeah, I
He
think
was
it
definitely
too,
in
but
the
it was-
way,
but-
it sounds like.
He was definitely in the way. Yeah.
but he absolutely crumpled.
Yes.
Mitchell,
and this
who
was
was
really
gassed
kind
at
of
this
the
point,
beginning of Mitchell
and took
falling
like 2
apart.
minutes to get up because, yeah, Neesmith.
Because you just
they,
got
they reviewed
hit
it
by
and
a UFO?
yeah.
He came out of nowhere, and the ball was just perfectly off the rim, and he grabbed it midair. And so it was kind of
Neesmith has some monster rebound in game one or something where I was like, when did he get
Yes.
so much hops? Has he got
yeah.
new shoes?
Yes.
He had another steal. I think maybe right after that.
Well, so after that, he takes an elbow from Mitchell, who's trying to come up the floor, and just puts himself in the way, and Mitchell elbows him in the jaw, and so he goes down. Mitchell gets called for the offensive foul. So now we've got a turnover that Neesmith has also created.
Were they able to challenge that or no?
They did not. They were looking at it as a flagrant.
Right.
even because it was, but they didn't call it a flagrant. They just said it was
Common foul.
a basketball play, but
Yeah.
above the head.
I mean, the guy was gassed. Sometimes
Yeah.
you make
It
bad
did
plays
not
when you're
look
tired.
malicious.
It didn't look like malicious, but
Mitchell's not that guy.
Carlisle's point was it doesn't matter. I mean, you could see him sort of talking.
intent
on the side. It
doesn't
seemed like he was like, yeah, exactly. If
That's
you
what it- right.
If you hit him in the chin if you hit him above the neck, so.
But I get not calling it in that. Having not seen it, I get probably not calling it in that game.
Yeah, no, I felt like it was a legitimate call too. And then Joe, they have trouble getting the ball in bounds, right?
I think
So they have
that's
to
where
call a timeout.
They call that's their last timeout,
Yeah,
right?
they had to call their last
Oh
timeout.
my. Yeah, because we had to stop 18 different runs, right?
Well,
Well, no, we still have timeouts. They don't.
we have
Oh, okay.
we have one
so
timeout
we got an
and they
offensive
called
foul.
the last
Did
one.
we score?
We get the ball back, and
Oh, we got the ball back. Ugh.
Oh, now that's going to be a little. It's hard to tell. Lot happened.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Proceed. Something happened, and they're inbounding. Or not
Yeah, so
inbounding,
we-
as the
we
case
scored.
is. Yeah.
We scored. They couldn't get the ball in. They have to call a timeout. They get on the in ball. They throw it directly to Nimhard as
As you do.
And this is wild. I don't know if you heard this, Colson, but the announcers were saying like, "Well, if you're Carlisle, do you foul?" And the answer was, "Oh, yes, you got to do that right away." And then as they're saying that, Nimhard just yanks the ball and it's running up the floor. So I enjoyed that.
That's
part.
karma for giving away those 8 turnovers, right? He was owed one back for sure.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So we're only down 2. We get the steal, and where there's 10 seconds left. And
Okay. I got the
instead of-
play-by-play here.
Yeah. Instead of us calling timeout, we still had a timeout. Halliburton just dances around up top, shoots a 3 at the buzzer.
As you do.
We win by 1.
As you do.
121-19.
Well, hold on.
First to 120, baby.
That's right.
I think you missed a step here.
I missed lots of stuff. It was all a blur. I was screaming so loud that I think I woke up the neighbors.
Here's
Screw them.
so
They shouldn't be sleeping.
Halliburton had gone to 12.4 seconds left. Halliburton's going to the basket. So Nemhard stole that ball, and they really just let the clock run. And 12.4 seconds left. Halliburton goes to the basket, gets fouled by Ty Jerome. He hits the first free throw.
Oh, that's right. That's what
And
happened.
then-
That's what even made it crazier.
So the thing was, he shot. Catherine was with me. He shot the first one, makes it. The second one, he makes it. His shooting motion looks different. I was
He
like,
misses it on
I think-
purpose.
I said, I think he's missing this on purpose. We grabbed the rebound.
No, he grabs his own rebound.
I don't think he got it initially.
It got
but
tipped, but he ends up pulling it
got
out of the
tipped.
crowd.
It goes back to him. He runs back to the 3-point line.
and
and
Reggie
just
Miller's
drains
that thing.
Yeah,
Runs
yeah.
back to the
So
3-point line and can't.
So it's essentially a 4-point play, because he's coming off
So
his
actually,
free
yeah.
throw.
He is credited with that rebound. So yeah, the ball gets batted around. He grabs it with 9.6 seconds left, and then goes to the 3-point line and cans it, hits a 3-pointer. We're up. There's 1.1 seconds left on the clock, and Cleveland has no timeouts.
No timeouts.
And
So because for me, I remember thinking,
game.
okay, we just got this steal. Halliburton's going to the basket. We're going to be within a possession. We're in the foul game. They have no timeouts. We have a chance here. But he got his own rebound and then just ran out to the top of the 3-point line. And I'm going, somebody's got to call a timeout. Let's draw up a play. Carlisle's like, nah, whatever. This is fine.
Well, that's interesting. They definitely had
They-
that in the trick bag for a while, and they're like, people are bricking free throws at the wrong time during these games. You got to do it when people aren't expecting it. And it worked somehow?
I guess, yeah.
He didn't
I
just
don't
make
know.
that up in the moment. His guys had to know what was going on. So that's something that they talked about.
Yeah, that
Clearly
may
something
be-
he
I mean-
worked on because the way he shot it way higher than he normally does.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, guys must know it's
Yeah, yeah.
coming
'Cause I
because
say-
you need your guys to be aware of
to
what you're
rebound,
Right.
or a Neesmith to just crush everybody.
doing, to just superhuman that.
But it
So-
was, yeah, I mean, basically the Pacers had the lead for the first let's say, I don't know, 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes.
And
then the last one,
1.1.
Yeah. It was so quiet. It was so quiet in Cleveland.
Did the Cavs fans stick around for the end of this one?
I mean, they did, because it had been close. It had been close for, it'd been within 10 for a long time. So they didn't really have a good reason to leave.
I'm not
But
sure
there
they
was
had
more of a
good
nervous
reason to leave the first time.
Right? My
there.
God. I mean, it would
There
just,
was a very nervous energy in the building in the last, quarter.
well, I was kind of like,
Because of
well,
this.
our luck can't keep going this way, right? Like, I mean, I know it's not luck. I mean, I know that it's incredible belief in ourselves, and it's, the big defensive plays and big.
I mean, when
baskets
you're
at the right time.
literally getting a good bounce off the rim from a missed free throw, I mean, there's got to be some luck involved, right?
Because we had several opportunities to close that gap earlier, close the scoring gap earlier in the game on some, like I said, some chippies, some things that were going our way, and then they just weren't. The ball wasn't going in the basket, and I thought, well, this isn't our night. But Eric would be like, it's still fairly close, and like they keep winning these games, and I'm like, nah, not tonight. Unbelievable. There's no reason why this should have happened. Like, it's just incredible.
Also, there may be a fine incoming for Halliburton because he did celebrate with his heavy balls celebration coming back after that.
He's definitely going to have to pay the fine on that.
Oh
but,
gosh,
but I think-
I don't know
Yeah.
what percentage that 5,000 of 250 million is, but I think he's gonna be all right.
Goes to charity.
I think he was okay with being called overrated as long as he hits the shot.
That is incredible. Why? You just, all Pacer fans, if you're listening, let's not go out and talk smack to Mitchell while he's out there. Let's root for our guys like we
Lord.
do and not light a fire for that's crazy. Why would you do that? But I
don't know. I just don't know if Mitchell's going to have any wind left. I mean, I know he's a supreme
the thing.
athlete, but
he's
an
look,
incredible
the guy's superhuman. We have hopefully, if you're a Cavs fan, he's going to have some help in Game 3 because they just asked him to
hopefully the
do
guys can come
all
back.
of the things, right? And it's clear that part of our defensive strategy against both of these teams has been their best player is going to do what he's going to do. Make them work hard for that, and then make sure that we do a great job on everybody else. And that has been obviously quite effective thus far. I don't think that's any surprise to anybody who's watched the film. On paper, are these the two greatest comebacks in the history of our franchise that don't involve 8 and 7? I mean, and to do them in back-to-back games like this, I mean, that has to rival 8 points in 7 seconds.
So 8 points in 9 seconds. You've also got the half court shot. I guess we didn't win that game. The 40-footer from Reggie to go into double overtime or whatever, or to go into overtime.
Oh, that
against
Nets.
the Nets.
Yeah. Well, he also had that dunk, and that was an incredible game.
Yeah. You've got the bogey hits the shot from the logo. But there was still time left on the clock.
On paper, man, we were down 7 points with a minute to go. And just
with 48 seconds in this one, it was 40 seconds against the Bucks.
I mean, that's just
or 34 seconds or whatever. It's just insane.
Incredibly good to be able to win more than one game like that. These things don't happen. And God, I saw some stat where it was like teams who are up by 7 with a minute to go in a playoff game or something were 1,610 and 0 or something.
Yeah.
And like now it's 1,610 and 2 or something. Like that's pretty wild to have happened in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that
doesn't make any sense.
It's amazing.
None of this makes any sense.
So
absolutely incredible.
After we won the first 2 games in the Milwaukee series, our odds of winning were like 92% or something. It's like of all the series that have ever happened, it's like 92.6% of teams that win the first 2 games win that series. I tried to figure out, because intellectually, you're like, well, that has to be higher if you're the road team that does it. But it's such a smaller sample size, I couldn't get good data on it. But it definitely has happened at least 5 times. Heretofore. So we've still got a lot of work to do in this series.
We do, but we are at a phenomenal.
But what
you
an
can't ask for a better
incredible
situation.
start.
Yeah, we just went on the road to the number 1 seed in the East and took both games.
Yeah.
I do want to apologize. Cleveland won 64 games this year, which
Yeah, 64. I think you got it.
I thought I'd said 60. Or
You said
something.
60
Yeah,
plus.
64 games. Yeah, which is tremendous. 64 and 18.
And as Jason noted last show, it is historically really hard to get teams like that out of the playoffs. And granted, they were shorthanded tonight, but we did
And
what we had.
They
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We have
wild.
a lot of work left to do. You've got to hold them, you got to win both your games at home, but if you do, you sweep out the number 1 seed.
But so
I mean, you got to win game 3.
I wanna go back-
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
You got to win game 3.
Yeah, you have
you
to.
cannot give this team any life.
no, because they'll
Right. They're too talented.
get you. Like
good.
they're
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go back quickly to a couple individual performances. Of course, Halliburton was super clutch, but Nemhard again was Colson. He moved up the list, right?
Nimhard and Neesmith, both of them again.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about Neesmith.
I mean, Neesmith had the putback dunk from
No.
behind the free throw line.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know about Nemhard. Nemhard had
He only had 13 dimes tonight. No big deal.
Yeah. But his turnover ratio was.
it was 13.
It's like Isaiah Thomas bad.
He also had the game-winning steal.
He had that. That's what I'm saying. He had his moments, but it was not his best game.
No,
But-
I agree. It definitely was not his best game.
And I also want to give an extra shout out to Benedict Mathurin. I feel like the time that he went and played his best basketball of the game, which was like a little bit slightly, and this is like perfect Benedict Mathurin basketball. It's slightly unhinged, or sometimes more than slightly unhinged. The one time he had, he's defending Max Strus, and he hits him in the face, and it was not intentional. He's going for the ball. He hits him in the face 2 feet from the referee. They call the foul, and he's
Up in arms.
completely flabbergasted. And while he's arguing about it, Max Strus is bleeding out of his mouth. And they had to go to like a cleanup thing. They didn't send him over to the trainer.
I think we would have agreed a long time ago that, we found our needed knucklehead in Benny Mathurin. But for the fact he's Canadian, it's just like the lack of consanity there. Like, I can't imagine that our knucklehead's a Canadian. But I think that's our guy, man. Will he
But
ever
it
be
also-
Lance Stevenson? No. But he'll be Benedict
He
Mathurin.
changed the energy of this game, though. He changed the energy
Right.
of this game.
But it wasn't just stuff like that. But it was just like this. It was just this raw aggression
Outrageous confidence.
and outrageous confidence that some gassed guys had to go deal with. And he's a load, and he's just gonna go to the basket, even if there's like not space.
He's coming at you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he definitely thought he was fouled every time somebody looked at him, and I was like, dude, it's the playoffs. They're not going to call it. And, they didn't. But he got some shots to go. So,
He ended
Good
with
on
19 points. So
yeah, good on him.
That is his best playoff performance of his career, no? 19?
Yeah. I mean, also
Yeah, 'cause
for
he
how
missed
he
last year,
changed the
so-
game, even if he'd gotten more points
Yeah.
in a different
I
game.
mean, this is the
yeah,
only guy who
fantastic.
doesn't have like crazy playoff highlights because he missed last year.
Right.
yeah.
Right. Well, this is his for sure.
All right, this is
So shout out Mathurin.
a big win to help his team too. That is incredible.
Yeah, it's hard to
So-
say this is the Mathurin game, though. It's hard to say it's the Neesmith game. Turner just was, our most consistent offensive weapon. That never happens.
Let me guess. We got 6 guys in double figures. Nobody with more than 25. Like this is just who we
That's
are.
exactly right.
It's just who
That's
we
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had 2 guys. So Turner and Neesmith had 23, and then everybody had double digits, and then in the starting lineup, plus Mathurin had 19.
Yeah.
So
So you're correct, Harper. It's how we do things around here in Indiana, I guess.
So good.
But so that
So
end,
good.
the end of this is again. I will say I don't think that like in the Milwaukee, the big comeback game in Milwaukee, I felt like was more ridiculous.
I don't know. And I mean, but part of it was that it was a close. It's hard to close out a team, but like the stakes were less, right? Like we were going to win that series. It was a crazy end. This game, I mean, if you know, you go into Cleveland and you steal a game, that's great. You know, you did your job. We just took 2 games away from them. I think the impact of this, it took 30 or 48 seconds instead of 34. But I think the impact of this is greater. I just think it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, statistically speaking, they're of relatively equal weight, right? I mean, if you give up that game and you go down, you go up, I guess 3-2 at that point or whatever.
Then you've got to go back to their house, and then
exactly.
You still
So
gotta
your chances
maybe-
of winning that series at that point are probably only 70% or something. Our chances of winning this series are upwards of 90% because of what he did and what the team did. Right? I mean, again, it's just this team is never one guy, and I don't know. I can't wait to watch
we
this
just
one.
don't give up. Apparently, yeah. No, I mean, I'm gonna just get off here right now and watch it. I think everybody who's listening to this pod should go watch the last 5 minutes of this. It's just incredible.
This
Absolutely
team is
incredible.
so
People I haven't talked to in
much
years
fun.
were calling me. I don't know. It's been wild.
So much fun. These guys are awesome.
Pacers head back to Indiana. We've got game 3 on Friday evening. And that building is going to be on fire.
Boy.
And game 4, which would be, I think, Sunday. But we are in a phenomenal position. And
This is a special ass team, and we just are doing. This is a very impressive thing we just did.
it is.
Incredibly
And
impressive.
we, but the thing is, and I think that these guys have got to know that this is not done.
Yeah.
Cleveland didn't win 64 games by accident. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, they have other players too besides Mitchell, but they did need more help for scoring. But they had three of their key players out, so you think that more will be back, and they're not going to give up. There's no way they're going to give up. This, they have. I mean, they're the number 1 seed. They have to have aspirations for the title.
Yeah, but now they have to win 2 games in our house to get home court back.
Yeah. So we're in a great
Not
spot.
just 1 game.
Yeah.
2 games.
Well, they've got some guys getting some
gotta
rest.
win.
I know that they want to get their normal starting 5 back on the court. It's going to make for an
And
interesting
by-
game 3. I
by-
can tell you.
It would not surprise me in the least if they did have their starting 5 back, next game. Nobody was out with a real bad injury. It was just, things keeping you off the floor, but nothing.
I mean,
Nothing torn. Nothing.
you're down 0-2. If there's any possible way you can play, it's time to get out there. So.
That's right. So, all right. Well, Harper, I think it's time for you to probably go watch this game. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Go watch it right now. You could skip to the 4th quarter if you want.
No.
We're still down 14.
And let us know. Let us know what you think. Any final thoughts? I guess from either of you.
Go
Watch the game or not.
Pacers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for this. I mean, I'd expected to lose this
Yeah,
game.
me too.
And I watched the game and expected to lose this game. It's just mind blowing. I'm just so excited. I'm so happy. This is great.
My final thought, I think, is Colson. I was in this kind of the same situation as you, and I left. I went after for parts of the 2nd and 3rd quarter. I listened to it on the radio. I went out for a walk because I was like, well, we're not doing so great. I'll listen to it. and I was just kind of antsy, because we weren't playing so great, and but it was close enough by the end of that, and but I got the sense for a good part of the game that the team seemed like they were okay with the split, which is a completely fine result from going into that, but clearly they weren't okay with that, and then they clawed their way back in, and they didn't start well, but they never went away, and they apparently had the cojones somewhere.
Yeah, just so many guys that a sense of the moment and stepped up. It's just what happened. So,
and really, it was so impressed with that missed free throw and the wherewithal. The thing that I think was the most shocking to me was both the previous possession, the second to last possession, and the last possession, where they just weren't in a hurry. It was basically like, we're down and we're still managing the clock with the expectation that we're gonna hit the basket, and we want to leave them with the least amount of time as possible. And it was incredibly. It was just incredibly impressive. It was incredibly just confident, and because these guys they were there, this team was there in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and they got swept, but
they were close games.
That's not the plan this
They
year.
want another bite at that apple, clearly.
Yeah,
that's right. Unbelievable, unbelievable.
So if you are going to the game, get wild.
But don't poke
taunt.
the bear.
Don't poke that bear.
Don't poke the bear. You can cheer your guys on, but especially not their best player. That's the thing.
He is incredible.
Yeah, and he'll do it again.
That's right.
So, all right, team. Well, until next time, we will be on social media. We are on Twitter at Undebeatables. We're on Facebook.com/The Undebeatables. The website is TheUndebeatables.com. It's a contact form there. You can use that to send us a message. Email, shout out at TheUndebeatables.com, and the website /store for merchandise.
For the architect, Donnie Walsh, and our once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Sick-Leonard, turn out the lights. The party's over.
Nice.
You look smug.
I am super. I don't know what to do with this
What a
interview.
win.
Just-
What a win.
What a win.
Look at his body. Look at his posture. He's like,
God.
he's got his arm. His arm is like back. He's relaxed.
I mean,
Showing
Showing
off
your
the
Boom
whole
Baby
Boom
shirt.
Baby.
we're never
Yeah.
up 2-0 in playoff series.
Not on
I'm
the
starting to
road?
yeah, especially not on the road. We
I mean,
get used to this.
yeah, it's one thing to be up 2-0 at home, and that never happens because we never have home court.
That never happens. Exactly.
Incredible.
Oh, man. Go watch the game.
I'm on it.
The other, by the way, the other games are equally or similarly crazy as well. So
Yeah. Good.
if you're not watching the other series, do that too.
Upsets around.
Yeah, and gotta say, I'm pretty sure I picked the Nugs to win the series, and they picked off game one against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, well, they got a long way to go. I picked the Knicks, but they got an awful long way to go,
Yeah.
too.
See you
The
next
playoffs
time,
have a good.
I guess.
The playoffs, they've got a good writer this year. That's all I'm saying.